As a business owner, you want to start with ethics as your primary, goal is to run your business ethically, treat your employees with respect, treat your clients with respect. Plumbing is recession proof. I would even go as far to say depression proof. If you're a plumbing business owner or you're a plumbing business technician, just know that there's going to be endless opportunities even in a downturn.
If you don't have a referral partner strategy in this time, I do think this should urge you to start and to create that with other home service businesses. Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the HVAC and Plumbing Hustle Podcast. And today I have Mike Prencavage Jr. on from the Family Plumber. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you, man? It's good to see you.
Doing very well. Thank you very much. We're talking about ways to increase call volume in an economic downturn. And we're going to talk about where the economy is right now, where it's going, how that will affect home service businesses, how to kind of adjust to this new reality that we're experiencing. I think we can both safely say that we are in a recession, even though we don't want to say it.
It's like the bad word. Yeah, you don't want to say it, but I mean, it is true. Yeah, we're in it. We're in it now.
We're in it. So now we have to figure out how to deal with it. So join us for that. And we're going to brainstorm on things we could do for increasing call volume in this situation. We all get a little scrappier when things hit us in the face. And I think anyone who's been in business this last 5 years can also say that they've been prepared for this, right? Because
absolutely,
COVID hit us in the face. A bunch of other stuff has hit us in the face. And now we're kind of used to it, maybe, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. COVID was an anomaly, right?
Yeah.
And most business owners, if you were in the trade industry, if you were failing during COVID, then you didn't know how to run a business. But now COVID has kind of subsided. But now we're looking at some serious challenges with this recession. So, we'll dive into it. I'm excited for this. It's going to be good.
All right. Could you give a 1 or 2 minute background real quick on just you, the company, where you're at, and where you've come from?
Yeah, so my name is Mike Prencavage Jr. I am the owner of the Family Plumber. We are based in North Orange County, a little town called Los Alamitos. A lot of people don't know where it's at, but more specifically, we're located right between Long Beach and Huntington Beach here in Southern California. I am a second generational owner. My father actually started our company 34 years ago. And he was fortunate enough to serve the community for quite a while. More recently, retired a few years ago, and I actually had not come to the company after graduating college. I decided to get into the automotive industry first, so I actually worked for Toyota Motor Corp for a while. Moved out to Boston, so I lived on the East Coast for a little while. And then, you know what? Honestly, the winters were just too much. I couldn't handle it, so I decided to move back and. In doing so, I seized an opportunity to come back to the family business and take it over. But the whole goal of mine coming back was actually build on the great reputation that my father started, for so many years. And local community has always been a focus of mine. But we are heavily involved with the community. More so, I actually serve the Contractors Association. It's called PHCC, the Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors here locally. I've served every director position all the way up to president for the past 3 years. Locally, I've served on the state board for PHCC as well, managing 9 different chapters throughout California. And then more recently, I was appointed as a director for PHCC National. So I serve on business development for the National Committee. And we're in 49 states, excluding Hawaii, which would be amazing at some point if we can lock that state in. It'd be great to travel out there, but PHCC is great. We are Nexstar members as well, and I'm working more on serving the board with Nexstar as well.
And you guys are successful, right, with the revenue side of things. And I also talked through I'm not going to publicize your numbers or anything like that, but like you care about profit and gross profit and all these things. You also care about running a highly ethical company and about standard operating procedures and things like this. And I always like to hear about that and learn from guys like you, because I am also trying to do a lot of those types of things in my business. And a lot of this it's interesting. Different types of businesses. A lot of the fundamentals are still running a business at the end of the day. So I love learning from you, even though I don't do plumbing, you know. So
I mean, it all starts with ethics, right?
yeah.
So, there's so many influencers out there, not only in the plumbing space, but as you know, you've been in roofing and HVAC, and the top influencers that I would say, that really, drown out the noise are the ones that are doing things ethically, in my opinion. And as a business owner, you want to start with ethics as your primary, goal is to run your business ethically, treat your employees with respect, treat your clients with respect, and at the end of the day, it always comes back tenfold. I guarantee it. I've been in so many situations, scenarios in my life personally, as well as business life, where it always comes back to benefit your company. I mean, so do it ethically, do it right.
Oh, 100%. And I always think of it like, let's say you do get the money that you want, right? Like, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do, especially in trades. And I know that we're talking about economic downturn, but business has been good, right? And business has been good for a lot of trade businesses and people that have been around for a while and doing things right and pushing, and it's reputation, right? Like ethics equals good reputation equals a lot of long-term business. And in addition to that, it's like if you are going to get money, might as well have a clean conscience while you're there. Because let's say you were, no matter what, you're going to get money. It's just like it might take a little longer to do it with a clean conscience, but at least when you get there, you can enjoy it fully.
And that term reputation means so much to me and our organization, and any organization that I'm a part of. You can lose your reputation, overnight, and so it's very important, if you're just starting your company, or you've been well established, you're a second generational owner like I am. Always keep reputation at the top of your list as one of those things that you really have to keep a strong hold of. And yeah, because it can shift. It can shift quickly. And
Okay. Um, okay, we're gonna go into economic downturn in 1 second here, but I will tell you what, as a marketing agency, it is very easy. Like people love to hate on marketing agencies. I don't know if you've seen that, but it is tough. It is tough out here to try to like maintain any semblance of like a clean like vibe because people love to, it's just very easy. One of the ones is like taking too many people in one area. So that's one of the reasons that we're kind of in HVAC and plumbing now is because we're trying not to have too much concentration. We had like, we have a lot of roofers, so we're trying not to make sure that we can continue to grow, but not have too much concentration in some of these markets. All right, let's get into economic downturn. Um, First question is, are we in a real recession? And how does that affect plumbing business calls in general?
Oh, absolutely. 100% we are in a real recession. And I fully anticipate that we'll continue down this path of recession, at least until the midway through the year of next year, 2024. We've all noticed it. I've traveled the entire country this year. Has been the biggest travel year of my career, and partly not only to grow my business, but also to network with other plumbing business owners. And the commonality amongst the conversations I've had is our call volume is down. What do we do? And it didn't just start, towards the end of the year here. This started well into the beginning of the first quarter of 2023, and we've seen most plumbing companies, we've seen a drop at least about 20 to 30% in call volume across the board. And so, yes, the big question is, how do we combat that? And, what are small to mid-sized to larger companies doing to really, stay focused on bringing in new calls, but also, once again, reputation means everything. Retaining the existing clients that you have. How do we get those existing clients to call us back? So.
Yeah, and I'll just like from the marketer brain over here note that like CPCs, cost per clicks in Google ads have gone up 20 to 30%
Yeah.
this year. So, and kind of the correlation a little bit is like it's more expensive if there's less, and if there's less of them in general, and it's more expensive if you have more competitors coming in. Um, not just like competitors popping up, but competitors trying this lead gen strategy, making it more competitive, driving that cost up because it's an auction model essentially. So, and I'm guessing that's not the only lead gen strategy that's costing more money, right? So that's just one that I'm very closely related to. But
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure the term saturation is huge in your industry. So,
Mhm.
and it's the same in plumbing. I mean, to be honest, saturated markets. We're fortunate enough, here in Orange County that we've been doing this long enough, 34 years with my father starting the company. We know the big players, and we know where there's a good majority of volume that we can actually tap into as far as clients that go unserviced, or they're serviced by like handyman style plumbers that really need a licensed contractor in their home. And Southern California is a booming metropolitan area, so I always tell contractors, especially ones that are friends of mine, here in Orange County, I'm like, there's plenty of fish in the sea, man. We're all in it to win it, and but saturation's huge. Yeah, I can only imagine in the marketing side of things how
Oh,
crazy it gets.
totally. Um, how do economic downturns and booms uniquely affect the plumbing industry? And what have you found to help kind of navigate this? Like, what are you starting to, what are the opportunities here? And how do you mitigate the the negatives?
Well, I'll start off. The biggest positive is I can say this without a doubt. Plumbing is recession proof, right? Recession proof. I would even go as far to say depression proof. Plumbing always has to get fixed somehow, some way. So if you're a plumbing business owner or you're a plumbing business technician, just know that there's going to be endless opportunities even in a downturn. So think positively on that. Now, given
When you
the
said depression proof, I was just thinking about my toilet and how long I would like let it pile up before I had to get somebody in there.
well, now I'm curious. Now I'm going to ask you the question: How tall? No, I'm just kidding.
About a week, probably
About
a
a week.
week. Yeah, that would be my wife probably being like, absolutely not. You get this fixed now. It doesn't matter. We'll buy
There's
ramen.
Yeah, there's an old article by Price Pfister, and it's quite a big deal in the plumbing industry. But plumbers are the health and welfare of our nation, and it's true because imagine all the households just stop plumbing, stop clearing drains for a year, how disease ridden and everything else the world would be. So
Exactly. Yeah, I saw a rant on Instagram the other day. It was like more important than healthcare, like than doctors, because if you didn't have this, yeah, exactly, it's
oh,
just
absolutely,
disease.
yeah. But yeah, when it comes to the economic downturn, I mean, we're in it right now. I wouldn't say we're at the peak. A lot of economy experts are saying, the first quarter of 2024 is really going to be a testament to the way the entire year goes. So those answers will probably be told to us at the end of January, midway through February. I'm referencing actually a conference that I went to recently, Nexstar, which we're a part of, members. Nexstar Super Meeting was hosted in Phoenix, and the economic expert had explained, if you're a plumbing business owner right now, you really really need to focus on cash flow. Make sure your cash flow is high. Make sure that you're leaning out. You're not overspending on areas which you shouldn't. Obviously, payroll is one of those big expenses. So however you negotiate that within your business, make sure you have heavy cash flow going into the first quarter of the year is
Yeah,
guaranteed.
and sometimes when you're an early business owner, it's like kind of tempting to like spend all that money at the end of the year so you don't get taxed.
Yeah,
Taxes. But it's like just because you spent it, it's still gone. You know what I mean?
it's
Like,
still gone. Yeah, yeah, it's
like
still
at
gone.
least with taxes, you get to keep 60% of it, or whatever. It's nice to have money. It's nice to have money in the bank.
Keep a heavy cash flow. However you can mitigate that, on your numbers. It's going to be so important. I mean, the reserve bank that typically most plumbing business owners go off of is a 4 to 6 month reserve bank for payroll. So just make sure that you have a cash flow, that represents that timeline. That you have 4 to 6 months covered.
I love that.
Yep.
Um, in this current economic downturn, what are you doing to evolve your business? Like, what are you looking at as like like, what are you moving around? What are you getting ready for that type of things besides cash? Like, I know you probably like, probably got some
Yeah.
cash. What else are we doing?
Yeah. So obviously, yeah, business side, financials, knowing your numbers going into 2024 is super important. But for us specifically, it's training, training our guys, making sure that they are well equipped or as well equipped to go out and talk to our clients. Conversion rate is huge for us, and 2024 is one of those things where we want to see higher conversion rates on these jobs. I know with an economic standpoint, clients are going to be really picky. They're going to want to get the best deal possible, and that in their own right, I'm a consumer of many other products other than plumbing, and I totally agree with it. So, but our guys need to be trained properly. So we're investing in them through Nexstar and a few other avenues to make sure that they're properly trained to deliver the options to our clients in a very informative way, not a sales pitchy way. And I think that's truly genuinely important that a plumbing technician genuinely gives information. You're not technically selling, but you're giving information and you're doing follow up. Follow ups are so important. So we're actually working on ensuring that every single one of our clients that haven't decided yet on the services that were option based and provided to them, that they're followed up within 24 hours maximum time. So we are working on that, as well as a few other items, proper training when it comes to actually the plumbing work. As surprising as it is, everybody says it, but it's hard to find good guys and professional guys that know how to plumb. But one of our strategies is to make sure that those guys go to a PHEC trade school, that they're becoming journeyman licensed plumbers. I think it's so important. That's one of the things I'm truly passionate about is the trade school. So ensuring all of our guys are staying well equipped.
And probably all this like does help in an indirect way with call volume, because we're going to talk a little bit more about ways to increase call volume in these times. Referrals, right? We all love referrals. Like I'm marketing. I was just talking to Mike before this to the audience here about how everything we do in our marketing is essentially to increase referrals. Like we have people on this podcast like that I believe are influential in a way and smart, and they could refer us. We have we're always kind of pushing. I always say push power to power. I always push power to the people that are in our industry that could refer us, that have people that are their trusted advisors. We try to help them. So pushing power to the people in your local market that could refer you. And I always talk about adjacent services. So for us, I like talking about us because it helps you understand this is what we do. Not just selling a service, because I don't do this for plumbers, but like for ourselves, all the service providers around what we do, we are trying to, like, we use gifting. We gift those people. We're in network with them. We're talking to them. We're being friends with them. And that's our community. Like we create community with those people. And you can do that too in your local market with other home service businesses that are in the home, that are talking to homeowners and that may hear about problems related to what they have. And then it's also referring them, right? Like as you find ways to refer other home service businesses, wow, it's crazy how much you can get back. And it does take time. That's why it's like no quick fixes. Unfortunately, in this moment, if you haven't done this the past year or two, it's hard to just like all of a sudden, all right, let's start referring people and hope next month they refer us. That's not really quite how this works. But I would say if you don't have a referral partner strategy in this time, I do think this should urge you to start and to create that with other home service businesses, to maybe even gift them like I'm doing with people in the trades. Is like I'm gifting people. I'm going to events. I think those are two that I would say could help increase call volume long term. Are there any that you feel like in the moment, like, okay, leads are down this month, something I'm going to do for next month? Is there anything that you're doing right now?
he does is he teaches the most valuable team in your business. He'll just add nothing but profit.
There's so much money left in the call center. So much money. If you're not at a 90% booking rate, showing empathy on the phone, smiling on the phone, making sure they're having a better day after they got off the phone with you, then you need to call Power Selling Pros and see Brigham.
Well, there's two things, yeah, actually on your point about, your local referral network,
Mhm.
get to know your enemies, or not your enemies, but your
Yeah,
competitors.
yeah. Your
So
competitors, right?
your
Yeah,
competitors, right?
yeah.
And I would say, without a doubt, I'm actually a really good example of that is here in Orange County, through the
You've got
PHSC.
lots of enemies.
Yeah, yeah, I got lots of enemies. No, I have a lot of
Good.
friends
If
actually,
you
but
don't, you're not successful, Mike. So,
no, we have good competitors, and they are actually genuinely friends, to be honest, especially some of the ones that are closer to where my business is located. But it's always been important to actually, you know, stay connected with your local community and the local contractors that are doing the exact same thing that you're doing. If you're a residential plumber, get to know that some of the residential competitors that you're up against.
yep.
One, not only for networking purposes, but if you're developing a referral based program, I may be slow or I may be busy, and a competitor down the street may be slow or busy, and those times sometimes are different from each other. So if I'm slower and I need the work, obviously, to have a trusted partner, somebody willing to send work our way, is totally awesome.
So that has happened to you.
Oh,
Competitors have sent you work.
I get it all the time. Get it all the time, and it's been great too because one of the things though, when you're developing that type of relationship with your local competitors, you have to set some guidelines, and I think it's very important that if you're working with a local competitor and referring work back and forth, just make sure you know what's expected. I've seen so many friendships and/or collaborations that are being done where it turns into an all-out brawl fest.
Yeah.
Oh, I referred this client, Mrs. Smith, to you, and you ended up stealing her for the remainder of her service visits throughout the year and everything out like that. So, one of the things that we try to do is work with our competitors that I'm willing to work with to cross refer, and I tell them, we're going to put a guaranteed label sticker on that client's profile page through Service Titan so that we know that this was your referral that you sent our way, and that if they call again, we're going to actually refer you as the primary contact plumbing company, because that's just not right. You're not going to sit there and steal clients like that, especially if they're doing a good deed to help you out in a slow turn. So
I appreciate that. It is like I know that we're going quick over this particular one, but I just want to note for some people that haven't gotten a lot of referrals from competitors, they might have just they might not even believe you right now. So what
oh,
did you do to what did you do to get those? Like why do you think they were willing to do that in the first
well,
place?
honestly, in my case, it's always relationship, right? So it's always the promise that we want to take care of your clients, and I know you're a great company. You can take care of our clients. Like let's just work together. I go back to that statement I said earlier. There's plenty of fish in the sea, and I think the contractors that we partner with for cross referring, they understand that. So they understand, there's always going to be work out there. So there's no sense in saying, you know what, I can't. I'm doing a disjustice by not serving my client by referring it to, say, Mike at the Family Plumber, so that they can get their plumbing needs handled, and I retain that client for the future. If they think that, you know what, I'm going to postpone this client another 2 weeks because I'm so busy, I'm so overwhelmed, it's not going to work out for them. They're going to have an unhappy customer. So I just see it as a win-win, to be honest, in those scenarios. And there's no financial back and forth. It's really just this written, policy that we say, you know what, we're gonna help support each other, and just keep me informed. Are you heavy on workload? Are you slow on workload? Let's cross refer. So I think I think it's great, and it's worked out really well for us. I would say, off the top of my head, we have at least 6 to 7 competitors within a 10-mile radius of us that are just great human beings that are willing to do that back and forth. So.
Hmm. I love that, man. What else do you do right now in these? And I know you've had a couple of slow months in the this experience of what we're all experiencing with recession stuff. So, what are some things you're doing right now to try to increase call volume?
Yeah. So I've really kind of delved a lot more into retention, bringing
Mm,
existing clients. We have a client database of over 30,000 existing clients. And, to sit there, not have the calls come in, which we were subjected to over the past, I'd say the past 2 quarters, it's been a lot slower on call volume. One of the biggest things to help promote call volume is we've been working heavily with Marketing Pro through Service Titan and retention, their built-in reputation manager system, which sends out survey notifications and or follow-ups on your experience in general with our company, or just little check-ins, email check-ins has been crucial to bring revenue back to our company. So we've actually since June and using Marketing Pro, we've been able to increase our call volume roughly there in about 45% on just our existing clients alone. So really don't look, it's very costly to acquire a new client when you already have them in your database. Go after them, and if you don't have a membership program right now, make sure that you do have a membership program, reoccurring services, at least in the plumbing industry, tankless water heater flushes, mainline maintenances, all those. Keep accurate record keeping so you can follow up with those clients. So in a slow call volume state, you just set them up and say, you know what, Mrs. Smith, we haven't seen you for a little over a year. Your unit does require, some maintenance. We'd love to come out and service, it's really been a true focus for us. We've been able to gain a lot of traction off of it. So
I love that. I love that. How hardcore are you on like, have you done shared leads? Are you into Google ads, local service ads, that type of stuff at all? Or what do you, any like paid lead sources you want to share that you push?
yeah, so we do hire an SEO company to go in and manage all the paid leads. We've delved into all of it, and more specifically, we haven't really been focused on outwardly going outside of our service area by much, whereas most companies are. We're kind of unique in that way, and what I mean is like we're not driving, 30 miles, 40 miles outside of our county of Orange County, that sort of thing. We're actually for 22 trucks, we're actually niched in a 10-mile service radius. That falls in line with the retention, everything that we do for our clients to help them. So our marketing focus online has always been kind of pinpoint to our 10-mile radius. That the pay-per-clicks have been useful. I think I'm kind of more naive on the online exposure, but we have a great company that we work with that's helped out with it. It's definitely it's very important to keep the new customers engaged, and it only to grow your reputation as well. So
Absolutely, 100%. And if you're not doing that well, then I think you can
it all
waste
goes to hell.
you waste a lot of money on this other stuff, right? Like, so this is foundational, and you're growing this business in a that's the strongest thing. I definitely think about base of power, and that 10-mile radius is your base of power, and you've got it's also like, right, the vans going around in that area, like you just start, it's easier to make a sale too, just because the reputation, vans, other local marketing. If you do Facebook ads, you can really concentrate them in these zip codes. Like, if you ever do direct mail, you can do a lot more direct mail in those areas. And 10 miles is a lot of space. And I'm guessing in California, you guys are pretty dense where you are.
Very, very dense. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I would say on that point too, one of the biggest things is a lot of business owners, plumbing business owners, don't recognize, am I spending too much on marketing? Am I not spending enough on marketing? And I've always, through networking and everything like that, I've always kind of given a gauge of about 10% of your total gross earnings should go towards marketing, at a very minimum, unless you need to cut off that feed and you're doing something completely outside of the box. General statistically, 10% or more should be devoted towards your marketing campaigns.
As you grow, that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to spend 10%. I'm not gonna lie. I like spending money on marketing. It's just it's fun. And then if you include like gifting or some things like that are more like reputational focused, like it's just really fun in my experience.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, towards the end of the year, we're always looking to acknowledge some of our HOA clients and associations, property managers, that sort of thing. So we send out gift baskets. That's all the fun stuff of business. You know, we have a police luncheon actually coming up tomorrow, which is great. We serve our local community, bring pizza, you know, stuff like that. That's always the fun stuff.
That's all marketing, right?
It is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other things that you're doing right now as far as lead volume?
Lead volume, for the most part, it's just really focused on our local community.
Yeah.
That's huge for us. So, serving the Chamber of Commerce for 2024 has been something that I'm personally just getting started with, and I'm excited to actually do, as well as staying very close and tight with the community centers. We work heavily here in Los Alamitos with the youth center. The youth center is great. Most communities have a youth center or they have a after hours children's program. There's nothing better than to have a great reputation working with kids and genuinely wanting to work with the organization, but that perception for your company to really be highlighted with the parents of those kids and say, oh, you know, the Family Plumber, they do so much for the local youth center and all the events that are going on. So we're really focused on community right now and
I love it.
Making our name a staple. Yeah.
I want to acknowledge that this is the ideal and that the long-term community stuff that increases relationships and brand is the ideal. And I'm going to do some here's a checklist real quick for those of you who are a little bit more thirsty at the moment. Because somebody listening to this that might be a little bit more thirsty for leads. And we all get thirsty for leads every once in a while, so I want to be respectful to those people. One, this is my normal checklist, so I'm not gonna blow any minds here if you're advanced students. One, take complete ownership for your results. Don't sit out here blaming all these low-end lead gen companies that they suck. Sorry. Start learning marketing. Set up a Google business profile. Fill it out completely and comprehensively. Start getting reviews. 2, ensure you've got consistent branding. Set up your social pages just to look nice. Share on your personal social profiles that, hey, we're open for business and we're ready to help. Hey, remember, we're here for all of your plumbing or whatever service needs, right? 3, share helpful content, short videos. They do not have to be fancy. Little how-tos, common questions. Just be yourself. Seriously, just be yourself. It does not have to be formal. It does not have to be crazy professional. Still, in home services and plumbing, videos in general are above and beyond most of your competition. Just being there and available. 4, and then I'm going to take a second I want to hear your reactions to this.
Yeah,
4,
those are all good.
Get a basic website at least. I sell websites, so I'll just give a cheap version out here too. There's something called Theme Forest. And on Hook's YouTube, I just walked you through how to set up a really an hour video of I show you in 1 hour how to set up a very basic website with Theme Forest. It's $60. And it's not that hard. Get a basic website up at least. Even Fiverr, just if you don't have one yet, right?
Yeah.
And get on every local directory you can. So look up local directory listings, and you can spend $100 to just get on 100 directories, and make sure your name, address, and phone number are consistent, and they should match your Google business profile so that Google is all right, there's 100 listings for this website out here. It must mean this website is at least somewhat important. Maybe I'll show it. SEO takes a while, but this is a good start. Anything to? I have five more. I just want to make sure everyone gets some of these. But are there any reactions or thoughts on any of those?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, the simple stuff, like what you're saying, your address being consistent amongst all your profiles, whether it's social media or your review sites, anything on that matter, including your website, should always have consistent information that's all the same. That's one of the biggest things, as you know, being an expert marketer, is that Google and these search engines are optimizing search results for the end user.
Yep.
So in doing so, if you have fictitious information, or it may not be fictitious, it's just not updated. You
Forwarding number. Like sometimes people
forwarding.
have forwarding numbers, right? And then they put that forwarding number on all their
Yeah,
like half the stuff, and then later
yeah,
on that forwarding number goes away, and like half their directories are just going to nowhere, right? So just make sure it's like a number that you're going to have for a long time.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's become on that point. It's become really easy to develop forwarding numbers, especially through Service Titan. You can
Mhm.
optimize a performance number, whether it's a local zip code or an 800 number. You can generate it in a matter of 2 seconds. But just know that you want to keep that number active, like what you're saying, forever. You don't just throw it away. That's revenue. For a client that gets used to using that link or that particular phone number, you're going to lose that client if you ever lose that number. So that's a great point.
That's that's real. I'm gonna bust through these last ones really quick. Five, be super aggressive about getting 5-star reviews on Google. And then as soon as you can, try Google local service ads, Google guaranteed. In some areas, it's not as good as it once was. Do try it. If it is good in your area, it can be very good, right?
Yep.
Six, treat every customer like they will refer you 5 times, and many will. Seven, consider this. This is my normal list, so excuse me. I'm tucked in here. Consider hiring a more aggressive Google specialized team, whether that's Hook or somebody else. Eight, keep going hard on social media, doing video content, and I think marketing around jobs. Like I think
Yeah.
like something my buddy Dave Carroll from Dope Marketing always says is like the best part about doing really pushing either postcards or Facebook ads to that local area where you know you get a lot of work is like they have the same like the houses were built in the same time period.
Yeah.
So like marketing around jobs as much as you can allows people to like a lot of the same time built houses. And then um, nine, get really into referral partners like other home service businesses. And 10, I like being active on local Facebook groups next door
Yeah.
and using just social media like in the local groups to get in front of more local homeowners. Because all this marketing, no offense, like we go viral or whatever else, like if it's not to your local audience, it just doesn't matter that much. Like it's a wild goose chase half the time, but everything you do in local markets and local Facebook groups and next door, that's all money. So like
Yeah.
I just want to like encourage you to focus so much as you possibly, the more you can concentrate. That's why I love your strategy of doing like 10-mile focus. It's just a beautiful strategy.
Yeah, that's great. Local is where it's at, and yeah, to on that point, online exposure locally. Those are free marketing avenues. To your point, community pages, on Facebook, social media, any social media, avenue to go on those community pages. Be more involved online. It just takes one click to come across the screen on one of your potential clients to be like, oh, I've never seen this logo. Make sure you have a good logo and make sure you have a good website to lead them to. But it's very important, yeah, to keep that online community exposure. On the point about social media too, outside of the box of marketing, one of the biggest issues that we found, obviously in every trade, is finding good people, right? Finding our niche employees and those guys that are really going to come in and do well for our company. It's actually gotten better. However, as advice from a business owner, one of the biggest things that I've found with social media, and I've talked about this across the nation as well at PHCC events, is that social media can be used for a retaining tool and or a recruiting tool for employees. Most employees that sit across the desk from me that are interviewing, They are interviewing me as just as much as I'm interviewing them. They've already done the research. They've gone online. They've looked at our customer reviews and everything like that. The social media aspect of showcasing your company really puts the cherry on top. If a potential candidate comes in and actually, does their research on your company, they go on your social media page, you better make sure that you have happy employees, that you have people that are super ecstatic to be there. Perception is everything. So that's very important to have that.
And they like those are great posts too. Like you think about the ones that do well on Instagram, and
Yeah.
like I've been thinking about the breakdown of like generations, right? Like tech, like normally kind of Facebook's a little bit more of a Gen X thing.
Yeah.
Instagram's a little bit more of a millennials thing, and like TikTok is just a little bit more of like a Gen Z thing, right? So like
Yeah.
if we've oversimplified, like I'm on all three, you're probably on all three, but like the point is like if you oversimplified, that's the concentrations, and like so I think of like millennials being my like I aim for millennials a little bit more employee recruitment. Like Instagram is a great place to put on like culture and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
Based on like you can go whatever, but choose an ideal employee kind of profile, just like you would an ideal customer profile, and make sure you're reflecting back what they would want to experience, right? Just like with an ideal customer, you want to reflect what they a happy customer that's smiling, that's like having the experience of getting their plumbing problem fixed, right? That's the ideal visual. The same goes for employees. And I will say, like, if you're marketing for employees on Facebook and Instagram, for instance, then customers are not going to hate that. You know what I mean? If they see happy customers, like if they see happy employees, like having a Christmas party, or they see a cute dog or a kid playing with a plunger or whatever it happens to be, like they're gonna have a positive emotional reaction to that. I see some home service businesses in my area that all their billboards are actually towards employees. Like and I know it's because they're doing well because they're a client of ours. They're not doing well because they're a client of ours. I know they're doing well. I happen to know they're doing well because they're a client. Anyways, but they all their billboards are just like they're like happy anniversary Joe, or like happy birthday Ken, like happy all this type of stuff, like, and they're just like celebrating their people, and that's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, no, it's good. And you should always be doing that on social media. Content, it's so funny. You cannot be posting just in the plumbing industry, just toilets filled with poo. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's not, a lot of,
Problem, man. That's you
a
do
lot of
want to.
business owners, yeah, they say, oh yeah, this is clickbait, right? I
Yeah.
hear that all the time. This is clickbait. No, it's not. Nobody wants to see that stuff. They
Yeah.
they want to see wholeheartedness. They want to see a company that's really showcasing, like what you said. Your employees. Showcase your employees. It's a win-win. You're not only representing your company, you're to potential clients and/or potential employee candidates, but your employees love it too. I encourage all my guys, hey, if you have a social media page, and we have a few of our guys that go into, service a home and that sort of thing. They love posting their work. It's an encouragement booster to actually see their work being posted on the company's social media. It's great. No, it's really good.
Do you have that as part of your SOPs at all, like pictures and
So
stuff like that?
So we do. I mean, there has to be, so specifically with an SOP, it's in our employee handbook that when it relates to social media posts, it just can't be of a specific client and/or personal items in the background, as well as address or client information. So we can't have you taking a picture of an invoice and how much they paid and all this stuff
Yeah.
and posting.
Oh yeah.
But so there are some guidelines on that,
Yeah.
but I do encourage, as far as professionalism, workmanship, our guys are allowed to post whatever they feel they want to showcase. Yeah, I think it's very important. Once again, it goes back to it's a morale booster, and I enjoy seeing the content. I mean, me as an owner, I oftentimes don't get to see what my guys are doing out in the field. So if I'm on social media and I'm following them, which I am, I see something come across the wire, such as a water heater that they installed that looks just absolutely perfect. Guess what I'm going to do the next day? I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm Carlos, my technician. I'm going to say, hey, Carlos, I saw your post on that water heater. Great job, man. That was awesome. So it definitely helps. It works.
Love that you're involving them in this stuff too. I think it's beautiful and it's fun. It's fun like you said, it's fun to share stuff that you did.
It's fun.
I honestly want to keep on picking your brain, Mike. I know you talk a lot about like maintaining ethical practices and obviously proper training and SOPs. This one went a little bit more towards the lead gen, call volume, marketing stuff, but maybe I'll have you on again in the future. And I really appreciate you taking the time. It's a scary time for other home service business owners, and especially sometimes when you're not as established. And there's like let's say seasonality or other just ups and downs. It gets scary. And
but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes back. Like there's always up to the down when there is an economic downturn, and there's also up to the down when there's seasonality, and it's hard to know what's what, right? But I would just want to encourage you guys out there: stay diligent, stay focused on your long-term reputation, and it will serve you.
100%.
And the more we can stay out of that like breathy, I don't know, stay out of the like short-term mindset, the like, I need leads and like the more we can stay in the relationship focused long-term stuff, then it's going to serve us well.
It'll serve you and the community much better, and all of your employees will be happy at the end. So I agree with that 100%.
Mike, you the man, dude. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. Where is a place where people can go check out you and the company?
Thank you, man. No, and I appreciate you coming, inviting me on, and this has been great. Absolutely. If you want to check out our company, it's the Family Plumber. You can check out our website, thefamilyplumber.com. More so with PHEC because I am heavily involved. There's two websites specifically that you can check out, phec.web.org, which is our national website, as well as phec/ORSB.com, which is our local chapter here in Orange County. And it's a great organization. I encourage anybody to look into it. PHEC does again stand for Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors. It's a mouthful, but it's a great organization. So you guys can check me out there and on social media, SoCal Plum Guy on Instagram and Mike Prencavage on Facebook. So.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And I really appreciate you joining us, and join us for the next episode. All right, bye.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks, Tim.
Yes, sir.